From iconic sites and activities to some of the best food in the world, there are lots of things to see and do in New York City, but which ones are really worth it? Earlier this week, we asked real New Yorkers to leave us suggestions for the best things to do in the city, and now we're putting them to the test. We're in Madison Square Park, home of the original Shake Shack, and we're here asking New Yorkers for suggestions of their favorite things to do in the city. So far, we've gotten lots of suggestions. I'm very excited to open this box up and see what everyone has to say. We're gonna use these suggestions to make a guide to New York City. This is it. Walking the Brooklyn Bridge. People have been walking across the Brooklyn Bridge since 1883. Is it still worth it today?
It's worth it, because you get to see like both sides of the water.
Brooklyn Bridge, worth it. Get a caricature drawing done. I'm a little bit nervous for this, I'm not gonna lie. Got absolutely roasted by this guy. I didn't think this was gonna be worth it, but yeah, it's worth it. Oh, this is a good one. Talk to people. New Yorkers are the best. I do think New Yorkers are the best. Okay, so we're making a guide. We're trying to figure out what's worth it in New York City. What are some things that are worth it?
Museums and galleries.
The museums, the culture.
People watching.
Central Park.
Running on West Side Highway.
You gotta see the Knicks. Shout out to Brunson and them, you gotta see the Knicks.
Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. We're in the Bronx.
I'm David Greco from Mike's Deli on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. Jack, it's good they sent you here because today you're Italian.
Mike's Deli, Arthur Avenue. Worth it. Here we go. Eat a cannoli. Worth it. Ride the hop-on, hop-off bus. Have you ridden one of those double-decker hop-on, hop-off? Like
No.
hop-on, hop-off bus? Given the price, not worth it. Take the Staten Island Ferry. New York City has been operating this ferry since 1905. You know, you could pay for a Statue of Liberty cruise, or you could ride the Staten Island Ferry for free and see it up close and personal. Worth it. Playing chess in the park. I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked. Whatever you do, don't put any money down on the table.
All right, good game, Jack. You're a good player.
Playing chess in Washington Square Park? Worth it. Can you give me some suggestions of the best things to do in New York City?
You could go see a baseball game.
I like Pier 45. I nap there most afternoons.
Edge, ledge.
The Edge.
I went to the ice cream factory and I liked that.
Ice cream factory? Runs on the West Side Highway at sunset. Running here on the West Side Highway at essentially rush hour can get a little hectic. What do we think about running on the West Side Highway?
It's like a race day. I also like Mario Kart.
Maybe the crowds are a good thing.
Running on the West Side Highway, worth it. Okay, easy. Shake Shack. In the making of this video, we've had Shake Shack maybe 10 times, and it's good every time.
Shake Shack rocks. And I love Shake Shack.
Well, I do love Shake Shack.
Dude, I got a Shake Shack right next to my apartment, I love it.
There we go! Do some touristy stuff in Times Square.
Times Square.
Times Square's not worth it.
I try to avoid it at all costs.
Don't come to New York and do the Times Square experience.
What do you think the most touristy thing you can do in Times Square is? I'm in Times Square and I'm trying to figure out if this spinning camera thing is worth it or not. The spinning camera thing, have you seen that?
Oh my God, horrible. New York, I hate it so much.
Getting your picture taken at the 360 camera in Times Square, not worth it. Union Square Green Market, we should go with the chef.
My name is John Karangis. I'm the executive chef and vice president of culinary innovation at Shake Shack. All the products that the farmers display was probably harvested within the last 48 hours, if not last night.
So check out my bag.
It looks like a lot of strawberries in here. You're going hard on the berries. Is the Green Market something that's worth visiting when you're in New York?
Oh, absolutely worth it. Absolutely.
All right, I'm seeing a lot of these. Central Park, Central Park, Central Park. Okay, this is a good one. Rent a rowboat in Central Park. Been in New York my whole life. I've never done this before. Feels like a very romantic activity, something you'd see in the movies. It's a little bit of a tricky thing to do here. You gotta get the hang of it. Rowboat in Central Park, definitely worth it. Stopping for lunch in Central Park, definitely worth it. This is a good one. Dumbo for photos. It is pretty hard to get a great shot here because of all the crowds. Is this worth it?
No.
Casa Amadeo Music Shop in the Bronx. I feel like I've heard of this before. Let me see. Oldest continuously occupied Latin music store in New York City. The store is recognized by musicians and music historians as a site significant in the history of Latin music in the city.
Soy Miguel Ángel Amadeo. They come here from Africa. They come here from Spain. South America, forget about it. They're crazy about my music because they like salsa.
Casa Amadeo, worth it. Gotta do this one. Before I even read this, I'm gonna tell you it's worth it, but we're gonna go through the motions anyway. Go to a Mets game. We're at Queens City Field for the Mets playoff game. City Field! Yes!
Real New Yorkers are Mets fans.
Let's go Mets.
Okay, the atmosphere here at City Field, electric.
Let's go!
Mets winning a playoff game. Worth it. Go to the oldest bookstore in Midtown, Argosy Bookstore. You know about Argosy Bookstore?
It was founded by my father in the 1920s.
Do you have any sense of what the oldest thing in the store is?
It's probably a book from the 1500s. We have a first edition of Alice in Wonderland, and I just find it exciting to touch it.
Argosy Bookstore, worth it. What are some things that are not worth doing in New York?
Waiting on those long lines for bagels.
Sitting in traffic.
Stepping in something that people have not picked up after their dog.
This is something that I've always wanted to do. Anything I should be prepared for?
You're going up to at least probably about 50 miles an hour.
50? We're gonna go 50 miles an hour? I kinda wanna start commuting to work on this thing. I've been told my whole life you should never go swimming in the East River. But maybe it's one of those things that is low-key worth it. Can you believe I actually jumped in the East River for this video? Thanks everyone for the incredible suggestions. So many of them were so worth it. If you forgot anything, leave a comment below and we'll check it out in episode 2. Thanks for watching.